Okay, I'd like to call to order this August 20th, 2020 meeting of Springfield Historic Commission. In order to enable municipal government to continue its important work during COVID-19 pandemic while assuring both city employees and citizens can satisfy CDC social distancing guidelines, the City of Springfield is providing public notice that will conduct a public hearing using remote technology. I guess we know that already. Copies of the said petitions, texts, and maps may be requested by email or phone. Email should be directed to the Office of Planning and Economic Development at allen@springfieldcityhall.com or by calling 413-787-6060. And to view the public hearings, it's channel 17 on Springfield's Comcast network or Focus Springfield Community TV website, which is http://focusspringfield.com/watch/government. The public comment will also be taken in segments. The first public comment period will take place prior to a meeting discussion. The second public comment period take place after the meeting. We remain open for 24 hours after the meeting. To provide for public comment in writing, mail Springfield Historic Commission, 70 Tapley Street, Springfield, or email allen@springfieldcityhall.com. And to provide for public comment by voicemail, 413-750-3223. Messages received will be played at the Historic Commission hearing or at the continued hearing date of will be September 3rd. All comments should state their name, address, and company of organizational affiliation in addition to the items their comment pertains to. Voice messages received 24 hours before the hearing will be put into the record during the public hearing, and comments after the meeting will be entered at the continued date for the hearing. Voice messages are limited to 2 minutes. To request a reasonable accommodation or language services, call 413-787-6020. Okay, so we have no tabled items. We have some continued public hearings. So let's call it the 9197 Chestnut Street, place a temporary wrap banner on exterior of windows.
Roll call.
Oh, sorry. Tom, it's what happens when I don't do this for a while. Let me just say that Commissioners Walsh, Belton, McFarland, Finn, and Kroll are present. Are there any other commissioners present?
Did you say Belton?
I did say Belton, and just another for the record, we are a quorum of the commission, which means we need at least 4 commissioners to have a quorum and 4 to pass. Now we have 5 today, which is good, but for any item to pass, it has to have 4 yes votes for it, just so you'll know. And now I'm getting a signal saying my internet is unstable, so let's just get going and see what happens next. So back to the application 9197 Chestnut Street. So Kay Simpson, are you speaking for this?
Unmute.
I can't unmute her. Oh, yeah.
Do you have further questions? We talked about it the last time we met, the plans for putting the temporary wrap up on the windows. Are there further questions?
Let me ask, are there any further questions by the commissioners?
No.
Okay. I entertain a motion to accept the application for a certificate of non-applicability for the 9197 Chestnut Street wrapping.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, second. Any discussion on that motion?
Alvin, were there any public comments on this?
No
Okay.
comment, no public comment.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? I'll go by roll call. Commissioner Walsh is in favor. Commissioner Belton?
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland?
Yes.
Commissioner Finn?
Yes.
And Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
Okay, that passes with 5 yes votes, so you're all set on the 9197 Chestnut Street.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is 77 Dartmouth.
Can I
Go
leave the
ahead.
meeting now? Is it okay if I
Oh, yeah.
leave the meeting? Okay.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
all set. Thank you. very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Okay, the next is 77 Dartmouth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on 77 Dartmouth, is there anything else that has to be added to this regarding this petition for, application for a certificate of appropriateness to replace the 3 windows with 2 windows and a door? Is there no other comment? All right, well, hearing none, was there any any further public comment on that? No, there's no further public comment on that. So I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness for the 77 Dartmouth.
I'll make a motion to approve 77 Dartmouth under the application of appropriateness for the 3 windows, previously replacing the door. Or vice versa, excuse me.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so I hope there's some discussion on this. Because there was, I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I missed if there was any discussion in the last meeting. So due to connection errors that I hope I don't get tonight. If there's no further discussion, hearing none, I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
No.
Commissioner McFarland.
No.
Is that a no, Commissioner McFarland?
No.
Commissioner Belton?
No.
And Commissioner Walsh is no. That application is denied.
You also have to keep going with the rest.
Regarding the windows and the door. Again, I apologize. Give me about 20 seconds here. Okay, also, I'm just going to go back to that application because the motion was regarding the windows and the door. And then there was a, regarding the fascia board on the top rail of the back patio deck. So I'd entertain a separate motion regarding that.
Is that also under the application of appropriateness?
It appears to be. I'm just reading what's in front of me. rear of the house will put a fascia board, I guess as part of the attempt to remediate. Rear of the house, put a fascia board on top of the rail and back patio deck.
I'll just make a comment. I'm not sure the application is under the appropriate or falls under appropriateness.
And I thought there was a second. Is Alvin on? I thought there was the original one, and then there was the second one, which was the mitigate.
Right, which is part of why I'm going through this file, and I appreciate everybody's patience because it's not quite what I'm reading. I thought so too. This just says, what's in front of me says we'll put a fascia board on top of a rail on back patio deck. Let me just confer with Alvin for a second. Okay, see, the only remediation offered is the fascia board on the top rail of the deck. So it doesn't look like that. That's all it seems to be, is just that to put a fascia board on the top rail of the deck. Is there anything, David, is there anything else that that we're missing here? Please jump in.
Well, I'm not sure at our last meeting that we got a clear understanding visually of what that might be.
Okay.
And it appears that, well, obviously changes have been made prior to this application. And it's difficult to sort of kind of go backwards, but I guess I'm just kind of wondering what is our path going forward? What are the options? If we vote no on this from the homeowner's perspective, you know, what options do they have?
Well, he has the option to come back with a remediation plan with more detailed, more details, what it was going to look like, what the rendering might be.
So I guess one of my questions is, you know, we've got 3 windows removed. We've got a door into what apparently are side light windows. You know, I have a hard time with telling somebody to pull out a door that's already there. So I'm just looking for a viable solution that meets everyone's needs. So I'm willing to be flexible. But I certainly voted no just because of the way it appears.
Right.
I just don't know if I haven't seen anything visually that I see as a viable option as of yet. Same goes for the railing, I would say.
Well, two things are happening. Once we had a motion on the first part, and we already voted against it. So that one's off the table no matter what.
Right.
I would suggest that the owner give us do another application with a more detailed remediation plan, if that's what you want to see. And it's the same thing on the railing. I really can't picture from the pictures here in this file what the railings, how much different or what it's going to look like with the fascia board up the top. I think it will be an improvement, yes. And it may be all that I need to see, but I'm not seeing it from the information that I have here. So I'm not sure how, whatever
I
you
think
guys
it would be interesting to see what type of door they're going to install back there.
Yeah. Like I said, Tom, we already voted that one down.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
we're not, that one's, it's the the second part of this with the fascia board is all we're kind of talking about now.
Okay.
The owner has to come back to us with,
with the fascia board.
yeah, we can continue this.
Yep.
Or table this until the next meeting.
Commissioner, I would just say in defense of the homeowner,
Okay.
based on our conversations last meeting, I'm not sure he has a real understanding of what he actually needs to do visually. And I realize we're not in the position of telling him or advising him. But I think that's one of the big obstacles here. So
What's your suggestion, Dave?
I'm not sure I have one because we're really not allowed to make those suggestions. It's just, I think that's.
Actually, I didn't mean your suggestion for the house. I meant your suggestion for to table the item and try to get additional information. Because you could make a motion in order to do that.
Are we allowed to do that? So that doesn't invalidate our first vote in terms of no?
No, that's separate. That vote has been taken.
Yeah, I would vote to table this with the hopes that the homeowner can provide something that, or has a better understanding of what it is he actually needs to provide us.
Okay, so
you can table the red, but you can't
Right.
table the door.
right, and just for clarification, we're tabling the railing.
Yes.
Okay, so is there a second on that motion to table?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, I'll call the roll. Motion to table, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is a yes. Okay, so we tabled the fascia board, voted no on the doors and the windows. Hopefully the homeowner will come to us with something, with more detailed, something we can do to meet somewhere in the middle.
If he has questions, he can address them with Alvin. Is that right?
Yes,
What to come back with and what he should present, just so
Yes.
that he knows what his resource is.
yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. All right, next is 90.5 Buckingham Street. We have we have a continued hearing, which is the vinyl siding. Are we going to put that up or show it somehow?
Show a picture.
Yeah, we're going to try and show you some of the vinyl siding samples that they dropped off here. Alvin's going to try and put them up on the screen. But this is 90.5 Buckingham Street. The house currently has asbestos siding, would like to replace with vinyl.
For clarification, I'm just wondering, is it replace or cover with the vinyl?
Cover.
This says replace.
It's going to be cover.
The application says replace, but the homeowner's saying that it'll be cover that. Okay, hopefully everybody can see what's up on the screen. And there were from the previous the continued hearing, was there a discussion about it being on one side and not the others, so that there's a different kind of siding, or is it one kind of siding for the whole house?
I don't think that was discussed.
Okay, all right. Are there any other questions or anything else you'd like to?
it wasn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't discussed. Is it in fact covering the entire home?
You can only see some of the house from the street. My house is tucked in the back, so the only part that you can see from the street will probably have this siding that you see here, and the other would probably be regular siding, just because it would be super expensive for me to do the whole house that way.
Okay.
So, Ms. Hines, have you had any conversations with your contractor as to how they are going to tie in the existing siding to the adjacent sides of the house? And I guess I'm talking primarily about the corners where they meet.
No.
And I'm not recalling the photographs, but I know one of the concerns, I think last meeting, one of the commissioners had was the corner boards, which are the contrasting trim that goes.
Oh, I think he said it would have corner boards.
Okay.
Okay, so this application is, for clarification, is in the, as opposed to the picture that was up there, that would only be to the parts that were visible to the public way.
Right.
And was it, how was it determined what side, which sides were visible to the public way?
It's only really one side that's visible to the public way, and that's the Westminster Street side.
Okay.
Which is technically the back of my house.
Hey, commissioners, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I spoke with the contractor. He stated that he would only put the textured siding on the Westminster Street side of the property. And you would use the regular type of siding on the other portions of the structure. You can see portions of the structure from Buckingham Street. But again, the Westminster Street is the most visible section of the home, and it's basically become even though it's the rear of the property, it's now pretty much the primary face of, or facade of the structure.
For consistency, since we've looked at other properties, that from any public way, so Buckingham would come into play if it's visible from Buckingham, correct?
Yeah, well, that's correct. We do have to, I mean, is it a reasonable accommodation? Is it barely visible? Is it very visible?
Barely visible. It's tucked behind 2 additional houses.
This,
So on the
particular-
Buckingham side, you're the house behind
Yes,
behind another house.
behind 2 houses. There's a house in front of me to my left and a house in front of me to my right, yeah.
Okay, but
I think there's photos from the street. I'm not 100% sure.
There is.
well, I'm seeing the one from the street where the lot where the other, I guess there was a house at one time that's not there anymore.
No, that's probably the Westminster Street side.
It is.
Yeah, but the Buckingham Street side, there should be yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe I have a picture of that. Okay. Oh, I see. So now the picture's up on the screen. So that's from
That's the Westminster Street side.
Westminster. That's still Westminster right
Mhm.
there. Okay. And that's from,
Buckingham.
okay.
I'd just like to mention, aside from it being very, very, hardly visible at all from the Buckingham side, obviously the Westminster side's very, very visible. But I think consideration to the volatility and the health risks of the existing sidings the asbestos should be a consideration in our voting. So
Okay. Okay. All right, so that's the, all right, so the application will be for one type of siding visible to Westminster, and the rest a less expensive siding, but matching in color and properly blended.
Yeah.
With, you said corner boards.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Was there any public commentary on this? No public commentary on this. So I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for, well, she has it under hardship to cover the asbestos shingles with the vinyl siding as described.
So moved.
In the second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, I'll call the vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is putting yes as well. Okay, that's on the vinyl siding. That's been approved. And that's our last continued hearing. So we have a new hearing on the same property. And this is an application for certificate of hardship. I'd like to add a back door to the rear of my house for a secondary way of ingress and egress. I would also like to repair my existing porches. The justification of hardship is I need an additional way out of the home in case of an emergency. Existing porches will remain the same and or returned to natural state. Now, some of that construction's already begun.
It has.
Okay. I was looking through the photographs and I'm not seeing what a natural state would have been. I mean, I see
Yeah.
the historic photograph.
I couldn't find a picture of the house of the porches.
Okay.
So I would just say, when I say natural state, I would just say the state that they are in now. But just repair what's wrong with them now.
This one looks like it's just been added where this new door is.
Yeah, the back one, yes.
So okay, let me go back.
But then there's one on the side. There's two side porches. I guess the front porch is on Buckingham, and then there's a side porch also.
Okay, and they're gonna be,
Repaired.
okay, but in kind, same material, same
Yeah.
design,
Same design.
everything?
Yeah.
Same.
I don't plan to change anything. I mean,
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to speak for the contractor and say that he can get the same material because I don't know how old that material is or what the material is, but it would just be the same porch. I wouldn't change anything about the porches.
Okay, we do need to know before different material is used. If you were replacing everything in kind, that would be an easy one, except for the one on the back where that door is.
Right.
But since we don't have a material list and we don't have a picture
I think-
of what they're going to be.
I
Go
think
ahead.
that, well, for the existing porches, no, but for the back porch, I think there might be a drawing or something that the contractor gave Alvin.
Let's see if Alvin can find it here, because that's, repairing the other ones, if you're going to repair them in kind, that'll be an easy vote when the time comes. But we do need to know that it's going to be the same material and it's going to
Okay.
duplicate it exactly. The back porch is a different issue because we have to see what it's going to be made of, what it's going to look like. And it's going to have to be something that tries to duplicate the historic features of the property.
Okay.
I'm not sure if your contractor has, if Alan's looking for it right now, so we'll see what he can. Were you able to find it? Okay. All right, well, so there's a historic photograph and you can see one of the porches there. Is that what you had in mind? Do they still look like that now?
If this is what he gave you, then this must be what he plans to do.
No, I'm looking at the historic, can you see the historic photograph of the
Yeah,
property?
that's my house, though.
That's what?
That's not my house.
Yeah, it's just, it
Yeah.
might
is
not look like
an
it now, but
example?
it is actually, it is the historic picture of the house.
Okay.
But if you see the detail on that porch,
Yeah.
does any of that detail still exist?
Barely.
Okay. All right, let's see the other.
We certain that's a house?
No,
It's not.
that's not.
So this is a house on Westminster that's in front of it.
Oh, in front of her house.
Really behind it, so.
All right.
Ms. Hines, is that the house that sits to the right of you if you look out your front door?
It could very well be. If I look out my back door, yeah. That, I mean,
My
I'm not
apologies, back door.
This is what the contractor.
Okay, these are renderings from the contractor.
yeah. That's the, yeah.
Okay. And that was the,
Yeah, this is the house next door to mine.
The porch off the house that he's already.
so the porch that is going to look similar to this
Yeah.
one in the details.
Yep.
I'm not sure if any commissioners have any comments on this. I would expect that the detail work would have to be a little bit different than this. No? You know, the bottom of the posts, it looks like they're just, just a couple of pieces.
Ms. Hines, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The contractor that you're working with, does he realize that he's working on a historical property, and does he realize some of the sort of ramifications that come from that?
Yes. Yeah, because he's also working on the house next door to mine.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think that we're going to need more, I'm going to need more information on materials and
Okay.
what it's going to look like, more specifically than just what the roof dimensions might be. And have, suggest that he adhere, try to duplicate historic detail. The porch on the back of the house is or on the front, since I don't know what you're considering the front or the back, but where there isn't one is where I'm going to need probably significantly more information. you know, relative to making a porch that's at least duplicating the style of porches on the house already.
Okay.
So is there anything else you would like to add?
No.
No.
So you just need the materials and you need to,
Well, I need the contractor to give us more detail on how it's going to be done, what it's going to look like, and what material. You know, we don't want him to build the deck on the house, so we don't, you know, there's certain materials that are appropriate and some certain materials that are not. And
Okay.
sometimes to change a material, you just got to let us know what it is and what it's going to look like, and if it duplicates it correctly, then we can approve that as well.
okay.
The one on the back, though, where the door is, that's going to need some, or to me, more detail, a lot more detail.
Okay.
Any other questions from commissioners?
I'd like to see a rendering of what the back porch is going to look like when it's completed.
Agreed.
Okay.
I know the materials are important, but I would really like to know what the back porch
Okay.
looks like, because
If there's
I'm
nothing
sitting
else
here
to
trying to-
add, I would,
what that porch is going to look like.
right,
Okay.
right. I think Ms. Hines understands that we need materials and a rendering that's more specific than what we're seeing now.
I agree completely. So I'd like
Do you have any
to
questions
make a
for us?
motion to table this until the next meeting so that the application and the applicant has more time to present the porch.
Second,
I can't hear you, David.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can now. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Are you taking a roll
I
call?
see David's kind of lit up on my screen here. No, I didn't hear Brian, and then I didn't hear David. So
Well,
let's
I'm not
just
saying
backtrack
anything.
a second for what.
Good.
Okay, Brian, what had you? Can you repeat what you had said there a minute ago?
Like to make a motion to table this application until the next meeting.
Okay.
second,
Okay. I'm having a little bit of connectivity issue here, so give me a couple seconds. I'll be right back.
okay, we'll be here.
Okay, so and only because I can't really hear it's breaking up, I just want you to state that motion. I know we have a motion in a second. I just want you to say it one more time for me. Is it just a motion to continue?
I'd like to make a motion to continue the application presented until the next meeting.
Okay. Okay, there's a motion to continue the application for 9.5 Buckingham Street. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Ms. Hines, I would ask, can you hear me?
None, call the
Yes.
roll call.
I
Commissioner
would ask
Kroll?
Commissioner Walsh.
Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Finn?
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland?
Yes.
Commissioner Belton?
Yes,
And Commissioner Walsh is a yes. So we're all voting yes to continue. And we'll just see what we can do. We need more details at the next at the continued hearing.
Okay.
And I apologize for those of you out there with a little connectivity issues, but we gotta live with it. Is there anyone here from 175 St. James? I'm going to have Alvin jump in here right now.
Okay, commissioners. Can you hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the issue with 175 St. James Avenue is that the homeowner is selling the property. He has a purchase and sale agreement. So therefore, he is no longer going to move forward with the repairs on the home. So therefore, that's why he's not at the meeting tonight. So at some point, he may just withdraw the application. He hasn't done that as of yet, but that's probably the course of action for this particular item.
Okay, then we can move on to the next issue is 53 Wilbraham Road, 42 Waltham Ave, Knox residents 1 or 2, letter of support for historic tax credits. Is there someone to speak?
Yes. Vincent, can you hear me? This is Gordon Pulsifer. Alvin, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear
Okay,
you.
great. Okay, great. Thanks. I just wanted to make sure our connectivity was okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for hearing us tonight. I first want to thank the commission for all their support previously in our projects. First Resource Development Company has just completed its 20th year. And we've done a little over 70 buildings with the Springfield Commission. And I just want to thank you for all your support. We're probably into hundreds of support letters for our projects. And a lot of the state historic credit that the Secretary of State issues comes to Springfield for our projects, and hats off to all of you who have supported our projects and all the buildings we have renovated. So tonight we wanted to talk to you about 53 Wilbraham and 42 Waltham Ave. On the Zoom meeting we're having, I have 2 of our team members. I want to introduce Scott Manpier from the architectural team and Michael Pulsper from our development team. This property is known as the Knox Automobile Building. Approximately 3 years ago, a resident in the city of Springfield wrote a letter to Preservation Mass asking this organization in Boston to put this building on the endangered building list for the state of Massachusetts. So it went on that list. Very effective. I actually sit on the Preservation Mass board. They turned to me and said, Gordon, why aren't you renovating this building? I said, there's no resources to do so, and it's in really bad condition. And we're up to our knees in Indian motorcycle, which is almost complete, by the way. So there are no resources. So on the list it goes. It's advertised statewide. It comes to Mayor Sano's attention. And he said, Gordon, would you focus on this building? I said, I can't without resources unless we develop affordable housing. There's just no resources to support the development costs for this building. He said, I will support affordable housing in this project because it's a very historic building, one of the most historic in the city of Springfield. And so that's how it all started. Secondly, we've had a couple of events at Indian Motorcycle where the lieutenant governor and the governor have been on site, and the Knox building has been pointed out to them. And they were made aware of that we would be seeking tax credits for this building. And they said, bring it in. So for the past 6 months, we've been drawing plans. And we've come up with a development plan, which includes, first of all, Knox building is bigger than the 2 parcels that I'm talking to about tonight. We've taken 53 Wilbraham and 42 Waltham, divided it in half because the buildings are separated by CMU block walls. And we're calling it Knox Residence 1 and Knox Residence 2. There's another section of the building owned by a company called Lesteron, which is not a part of this, but is part of the Knox building. It is our hope someday that they will sell that structure to us so we can renovate that as well. But in the meantime, we're moving forward with Knox 1 and Knox 2. So in Knox 1, we've come up with an apartment mix of 55 units. And in Knox 2, we've come up with a unit mix of 41 units based on the square footages available. In front of you, and what you just saw on the screen was the site plan. And we provided you the architectural drawings and elevations for both buildings. We've submitted parts 1 and 2 to Mass Historic to get the ball rolling, and who in turn, once reviewed, will send them on to the Park Service. This building is very similar to the Mason Square apartments across the street, Indian Motorcycle. It's really a blank slate. It's a factory that's been vacant for many years, and we'll go in and put a center corridor and build our apartments. And we'll restore the masonry outside, put new roof on. Right now in the front building, there's half the roof is missing, and time is of essence to keep this structure standing. The site plan will show you the traffic flow. It's a very narrow site. So one of the things we had to overcome was the parking requirements by the city. And as you can see in the site plan, we have some off-site parking as well as some on-site parking in order to meet that requirement. These 2 buildings are in the Winchester Historic District. The other lots that you see where parking is going to be located are not. So the only portion of this that's in the historic district is the buildings, the physical buildings, Knox 1 and Knox 2. As you may remember, Indian Motorcycle was also in the Winchester Historic District. So we're asking you tonight to support this project. And our first filing for state historic credits will be at the end of this month. And the history of Mass Historic is never to fund anything the first round, but we need to get the ball started. We're up to maybe 12 submissions on Indian Motorcycle right now. That's how long it takes to get the state historic. They give you a little each submission, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And we're anxious to get the ball started as we're going through the process. We plan to submit for our major funding from the governor's office in January. The historic state credits is just part of that plan. And our next filing for state historic credits is at the end of this month. So we're asking the commission tonight to approve our plan moving forward and provide us with these support letters. I'm not sure if there are any questions, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yes, Tom Belton has a question. The Waltham Avenue project, those buildings, in the very near future, they are building, I think it's either a playground or a school in the adjacent lot. Are these two projects going to play together? I mean, have people looked at the rendering of what you're going to do and what the city is planning for the old MCDI lot to see if they play together well?
Tom, yes, we're working in concert with the city. At the end of the street, they're putting a park. The MCDI building is still vacant, as they know, and the city has not decided what to do with the physical building yet. It sits there, but the land beyond it is going to be a park. And we're very excited, and it's not going to be a through street anymore. We're very excited about that, because I don't know if you remember about the outing park on the other side of town when they put that park in. That's been a big asset to that neighborhood, and we're excited about the city putting the park in this neighborhood.
Yeah, well, they've already tore up Wilbraham Avenue. You can't drive down that street no more.
And I do believe that that other building is going to be demolished. I'm not sure the time frame or anything, but I believe that they are looking to demolish the building. So, no, I think it'd be a great project for you to do. So, so there's two things we can do. We can take a vote to approve the project, and certainly a vote to send a letter of support. And I would entertain a motion from any commissioner to approve the project.
So
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay, we call the vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn, sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh votes yes to approve. And just for the record, a motion to send a letter of support. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
And any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, call the roll. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes. So we are supporting, approving the project. I think it's a great one for you. And we will issue a letter of support.
I want to thank the commissioners for all your support, and any questions along the way, do not hesitate to reach out and ask.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any other matters? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys.